and that's what Chris Eubank and Conor Benn did, which I so right now have it as fight of the year. Yeah. Roy Jones in his prime was unstoppable.
My number one now.
Yeah.
The monster.
Navarrete and Suarez, that was a great fight. You know,
at the end of the day, they did not, because I did, you did, a lot of people saw the actual punch.
You know, even though Manny in that exhibition, he looked decent. You know what I'm saying? But you know, he looked a little slow.
Why do you think he's coming back? First of all.
Hey, what's good, y'all? It's Gabe Rosado. Welcome to another episode of Mi Gallo, along with my boy Abner. Yeah, man. We want to appreciate all the fans that have been showing love since day one. And to the new followers, we appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all lock in and subscribe. Man, the people been loving it, man.
Oh, you know what? They love us, right?
Yeah, because we keeping it a buck.
100.
100.
And plus more, man.
Yeah, man.
We talk nothing but the truth.
Straight up, man.
Especially you, man. You don't hold back.
No, man. But you know what, though? Because, you know, I'm passionate about this shit,
no,
bro.
You are.
You know what I'm saying? I'm passionate about it, bro.
I'll be watching this sometimes. I'll be like, man, my man going hard.
Yeah,
you can feel it. It's coming from here.
Yeah, man, for real, man. You know, and it's all love, man. And you know, we just, like I said, man, we just thank the fans for showing love, man. The show been growing, man. The numbers are great.
I appreciate you all,
know,
man.
the
Thank you so much.
Man, definitely.
Yeah, they're showing love. People talking good and bad. You know, you get both, but it's mainly good. You know, because they see that we don't hold back. We talk nothing but the truth. You know, we're not trying to protect anyone out there. We're just really talking as a spectator, as a fan from the outside, and someone that actually lived it. You know.
Yeah, and another thing is, like, you know, we're good friends with a lot of these fighters that we talk about. You know what I'm saying? And I think that the cool thing about it is me and you ain't biased, bro. I mean, like we keep it. You know. Sometimes you know if a fighter is not really performing to the potential that we believe they can, we're just saying where we think people can improve is constructive criticism. It's never hate. It's never hate, man. It's constructive criticism.
Now we got that segment. Don't take it personal,
right?
Don't
take it personal, dog. Which they do anyway. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. You know, so man, going into it, man. You know, I think let's talk about right now. Where you at with the top 5?
Man, top 5. I'm gonna start with number 5. I'm gonna put Canelo Alvarez as number 5. I think that, you know, based obviously on this last performance as well, you know, he didn't fight that good, but still, he's the top 5.
It was a cool spar. It was a cool spar
for 80 mil. You know,
it's crazy.
Spar, no sweat,
no doubt.
So I put Canelo Alvarez number 5 because of
number 5. Got you, man. So my number 5, man. My number 5. You know, it's crazy, man. I'm gonna go Clarissa Shields, number 5.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Undisputed in multiple weight classes. Yeah. You know what I mean? You know, when she performing, man, and she popping. So I'm gonna go Clarissa Shields, number 5.
Okay. I'm gonna go now with number 4. I want to put Bam Rodriguez.
Okay.
I'll put him as number 4. Bam is explosive, man. He's going to jump from 4, trust me, soon, up to all the way to number 2 or 1 after his next 2 fights. But I like him at 4 right now. He is a big name, just super talented, and definitely working his way up to number 1 and 2.
Bet, man. So my number 4, I'm going to go with Crawford. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go with Crawford. You know, just moved up a different weight class, 54. Now he's about to go 2 weight classes up to fight Canelo. You know what I'm saying? But I got him number 4, man, you know, because he did his thing in the lower weight classes, but now he's at 54. He looked okay against what was it, Madrimov? You know, and now 2 weight classes up against Canelo. We're gonna see what's up. So I got Crawford number 4.
Okay, I got him in number 3.
Okay.
I got Terrence Crawford number 3. Same reasons. Obviously, he's one of the best fighters out there, challenging himself, obviously moving up on weight. But I mean, the man's obviously looking for legacy. And after Canelo's last performance, I think, you know, he's definitely got a big chance. So number 3, Terrence Crawford for me.
No doubt. So my 3, I'm gonna go with the monster, in a way. You know what I'm saying? In a way, man. Just he's like the closest thing to Pacquiao, bro. You know what I'm saying? Pacquiao in his prime, just explosive, powerful, and one thing about him is he's an entertainer, bro. He's a superstar. You know, he comes to fight, he takes chances. So I think that puts him number 3.
Number 3, okay. All right, so my number 2 is Vivo. Obviously,
Okay.
Bibble's the boogeyman right
Yeah.
now. Beat Canelo Alvarez, Zurdo Ramirez. I mean, he's the boogeyman right now.
Yeah.
Nobody can beat him.
Better
And
beef.
better be, of course,
Yeah.
top notch names. And
Yeah.
he's my number 2.
All right, bet, man. So my number 2 is Usyk. You know what I'm saying? I just think what Usyk's done in the heavyweight division, bro, just coming up from cruiser, right, unifying there, and then going up to heavyweight, unifying as well. Just, man, beating the top names back to back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, shoot, man, Usyk is like, he got the frame of Muhammad Ali. You know what I'm saying? And he's doing great things like Muhammad Ali, bro. So I gotta put him number 2.
Okay. I like that one.
Yeah.
My number 1 now.
Yeah.
The monster.
Okay.
El Monstro. I like anyway.
Yeah.
Manny Pacquiao, like you mentioned. I mean, this is a full package. He's got everything. He shows everything. He shows up. He gets knocked down. He gets up. He's hittable. He hits back. He's got power. I mean, I could go on and on how exciting this man is.
Yeah.
And he's everything. I think he is what a spectator wants as a fighter. When you want to go watch a fight, you think of it, anyway.
Yeah.
That's a man right there.
Yeah, fan-friendly style, bro. For sure.
No doubt.
All right, man. My number 1, bro, I'm going to go with Bivol. You know what I'm saying? I just think Bivol, the dominant performance that he put against Canelo, then he goes and he just puts on another great performance against Zurdo.
Yeah.
And then, Better Beef, who's a strong, dominant fighter, bro. And the way he controlled the pace in that fight, I just think right now Bivol is the number 1 guy. And I feel like it's really hard to beat Bivol.
So
you know what I'm saying? Like,
and he's so basic. It's crazy because he's so basic, right?
That's
the 1, 2, and
that's the thing, man. He has the fundamentals save you. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta do more.
The fundamentals are so important, right? And the fact that he has the fundamentals mastered is what makes him so hard, bro. So hard to beat.
Take notes.
So yeah, man.
Fighters out there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so Bivol is my number 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like that.
All right, man. So we had an action-packed fight. You know what I'm saying?
While
top rank coming through again. Shout out to Top Rank, bro.
Seriously.
Top Rank is putting on some great shows, man.
Even fights.
Yeah, man.
Evenly matched.
And Navarrete and Suarez, that was a great fight.
Bro.
You know what I mean? And controversy to it because it was stopped. You know what I mean? And it was they put it a no contest, but I believe it was caused by a punch. Right. It should have been a
well,
TKO.
now they put it in no contest.
Yeah,
but
they had it for Navarrete.
They ruled it, for Navarrete as a technical knockout.
And I believe that the fight should now get turned over as a win for Suarez because the cut was caused by a punch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now the referee missed it. There's talks about the commission actually banning the ref.
He did.
Which I think
it's about time they make an example. You get me?
You know what? To the referee's defense,
right?
That punch happening in real time,
right?
And then the head movement, it's kind of hard to call it, right?
Okay.
In real time.
No, you're right about that. Yeah. And the ref, obviously, he's only human. He probably did not see it as much or clear, and that's why you have to replay. And I think everyone
the replay is not effective
in California.
In
I thought
California,
it was here in California,
but it's not. It should be, but
I knew they were replaying though because they took a really long time to give the decision, Gabe. And I think because they were rewatching and they're trying to see and trying to make sure that they get the right, decision. Which at the end of the day they did not. Because I did, you did, a lot of people saw the actual punch.
Yeah.
There was a punch that landed before there was a close, head of clashes, if you want to call that.
Both rolling out.
But the punch landed first, and then you could see, in slow motion how the gashes boom.
Sure.
But a clean punch from Suarez to Navarrete.
Yeah.
Even though I thought Navarrete was winning the fight.
Mm-hmm.
But Suarez obviously giving back,
yeah.
No giving up. And it turned out to be an exciting matchup. So I cannot wait. I know there's going to be a rematch.
Mm-hmm.
They should be a rematch. They should have overturned that to Suarez. They should do it again. Run it back.
And so explain the rules, when a headbutt happens
before
the
rounds?
Fourth round.
Fourth round.
It can go it's a no contest,
Mhm.
right? Now, past 4 rounds, it goes to the
The
scorecards and
scorecards,
whoever's up. But when it's caused by a punch, that's a TKO if the referee stops the fight
Mhm.
or if the doctor stops the fight.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? In that situation, the doctor told the ref, yeah, stop the fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, once again, to the ref's defense, in real time, you really don't know what happened.
Right.
Now, speaking of the fight now,
Mhm.
besides the cut, speaking of the fight, Navarrete, man, heavy-handed. The dude's not fast. He's technically not sound.
No.
You know what I'm saying? He's like
Those are
yo,
the
no
dangerous
disrespect.
ones.
He's like a drunk
Yeah.
fighter at a bar just tearing shit up. You know what I'm saying? But bro, when he land,
Nah, you don't fight that bad.
no, listen,
I know what you're
bro,
saying.
there's times when
That's uglier
but
fighters
you know
out
what's
there.
funny about Navarrete? Navarrete would throw a shot, throw himself off
Yeah.
balance,
Mhm.
and off balance throw another shot,
Yeah.
and he's so heavy-handed that he hurts you. Dudes, power comes from the legs.
Yeah.
You got to have that foundation underneath you.
But
The
nope,
fact that he
his
can
guy's
hurt
legs
you,
up.
dude's legs are up here and he's here with it,
Yeah.
hitting you with a Superman, and he's rocking dudes.
You know who he reminds me of? Daniel Ponce de Leon.
Okay,
He
yeah.
had the same like awkward, ugly style. Like he go off balance because of the same thing, and they just had natural power, man.
It's like
These
the
guys,
drunken monkey style. Straight up, bro. But what was hard though is when you're fighting a guy that's so unorthodox and is punching from angles that you don't even train for.
Right.
And how do you even get sparring for that kind of style? Is really hard because
Right.
you might see a shot coming straight and then he curves it at the very end, bro.
I was actually gonna say
wild.
I've had sparring partners that fought as ugly as that, or
Mhm.
Different. I should call it not ugly, but different. And I always had trouble with those fighters.
I
because-
like the style.
Yeah, I didn't.
I
No,
enjoy it. It's
did
fun. It's
not.
fast.
I had so much trouble.
No, but I'm saying I like seeing.
Oh,
it.
okay. I'm saying I had
Yeah,
so much trouble against
sure.
fighters that fought like that.
Yeah.
Awkward, ugly. You don't know where the punch is coming from. They make it difficult,
Yeah.
and that's why they are so difficult to fight. And then you put on top of that you can hit, my man. You know,
Yeah.
you got something.
no,
So
for
he
sure.
possesses power, and it seemed like. And we were texting back and forth.
Yeah,
Remember watching
yeah.
the fight, and I told you Navarrete does not know how to fight. Does not know how
Backing
to fight
up.
going backward.
Yeah.
Yeah, on his back foot, he does
sure.
not. He's got to go forward. He's got to go forward. And every time he was doing that, letting his hands go, he was hurting Suarez.
Yeah.
But Suarez game fighter.
no,
brother. No giving up on him.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. Like Suarez, even though he was getting rocked, he was fighting back. He was fighting strong. That round, I forget what round it was when he landed that big shot that caused the cut. That was a beautiful counter shot. You know what I'm saying? But then props to Navarrete because Navarrete got a really bad gash, and he's even fighting more aggressive now. Where sometimes the cut makes fighters kind of like gun shy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But Navarrete, I think Navarrete got aggressive because it was the fear of if they stop this fight, I'm gonna lose by a TKO because he knew it was a punch.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, did you know? Like, you knew inside the ring that he hit you with the punch. Like, yo, if they stop the fight, man, he wins automatically. Obviously, and you could see the urge. You could see like him being desperate of just wanting to. Because there was a time where like you really went off balance and it looked really bad. Navarrete. But he was out there trying to look for the knockout, trying to stop Suarez. But again, smaller guy. He had a really good chin and was giving his own punches back. Great fight, man. They're gonna run it back.
Oh no, they definitely
gotta
gonna run it back. Now the interesting thing is like I don't know how accurate it is, but they are saying that the commission is talking about banning the referee, which is funny because the fights and where I feel like they do need to ban the referees, they don't.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I think the Tank Lamont fight, that situation was worse. Than what this referee did. This is happening in real time. This is different. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't think you got to be that crucial on the ref. You know what I'm saying? But I think that that's an example in how important replay is, and California doesn't have that rule. I think that's a rule that needs to be mandated.
No doubt.
In every single fight. The UK, overseas, whatever, the states, it just needs to be mandated, man. It's important because, that right there just cost Suarez, man.
You have it in
big
basketball.
Time.
You have it in football. You have it in pretty much all the sports. You got to have it in boxing.
And it's fast because pretty much you're looking at the replay as the fighters are in the corner taking their minute break.
Mm-hmm.
So within that minute break, you got time to look through the replay, and then once the round starts, before the round starts, the referee says
neutral corner is
a cut. I mean, it's a headbutt or it's a punch. Yeah. Now the fighters know. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I think that's something they should implement in the rules moving forward. All right, man. So we got the legend,
the Pac,
who's already a Hall of Famer. Yeah. I think this is the first time that a Hall of Famer comes back. You know what I'm saying? Usually you retire and then you enter the Hall of Fame, and you know what I mean?
Right.
Not Manny Pacquiao.
That's crazy. That is true.
I know.
I was gonna say that George Foreman retired, but he did not become a Hall of Fame. No. I'm just saying, yeah. I was gonna say, but I brought it up.
Crazy.
But damn, Pac-Man, Manny Pacquiao, everyone's favorite fighter.
Yeah, it's wild, man. And it's interesting because Manny hasn't been active in years. He did an exhibition, but that's not
Gabe,
official.
Gabe.
Now,
Gabe,
what's up?
Gabe,
what's up?
Pacquiao will give any young fighter today problems, bro.
No, I feel
because these young fighters, they don't fight. Pacquiao does. So I'm just saying.
But this is the point I was gonna make. Do you feel it's fair that he's getting a title shot? He's fighting for the world title. It's like, how are you inactive for that long? And now you get to skip the line.
He gets a pass.
He's like, excuse me, scoot over. Back.
It's Manny Pacquiao. He gets a pass. I think so.
And he lost to Ugas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, close fight.
Yeah.
Again, I think he gets a pass. It's Manny Pacquiao. You could put him one. I don't care. I just want to. I don't mind seeing Manny Pacquiao fighting again for a title. Do I think it's fair? With all honesty, I don't think it's fair. Yeah. They should have just made it a fight, and that's it. No title involved. But you know how it is with these sanctioning with the sanctioning bodies.
I feel you, man. Now, Barrios is a strong fighter. Good combination, has good power, good size, and obviously Manny is Manny. Mm-hmm. But listen, Father Time is Father Time, bro. And even though Manny in that exhibition, he looked decent. You know what I'm saying? But he looked a little slow.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think he's coming back? First of all,
look, they say he needs. This is what they say. They say he needs the money.
We're not saying this.
I'm not saying that. Yeah. At the end of the day, I think everybody needs money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Money is money, bro. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I don't think Manny's doing it for that reason. I think Manny is just a fighter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think he's a fighter. I think he loves the sport. You know what I mean? He lives a healthy lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think Manny, he just likes to defeat the odds, bro. Yeah. When you count him out, it's like Manny just wants to show you how great he is.
Remember how they counted him off for the Thurman fight?
Yeah.
People thought Thurman was gonna walk through this guy. Manny Pacquiao, like older guy, he dropped Thurman, brother. I mean, Manny Pacquiao is Manny Pacquiao. I know you talk about Father Time being out for so long.
That was a dominant performance.
Yeah, that was a dominant performance.
And he dropped Thurman.
Barrios is a good fighter, but Barrios gives you enough time to think, to reset, to let your punches go, because he's a thinker. He's a boxer. He's always fighting in the outside. Barrios. It's a good fight. Just wouldn't like to see Manny Pacquiao get hurt. I wouldn't want him to go out like that. You get me? Get injured, get hurt by a younger fighter like Barrios. I hope that's not the case, and he comes out and just, he gives a good show, good performance, and I know he will. And I think Manny Pacquiao is always exciting. For how many rounds? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if the condition is going to be there for this for the older fighter.
I think the condition is not the problem. I think it would be, if anything, the reflex.
Yeah.
Because Manny Pacquiao is a speedy fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Manny Pacquiao relies on punching off of weird angles.
Right, yeah,
He's not technically sound.
Mm-hmm.
And, most of the time, fighters that were great, that fought off of athleticism and reflex, as they aged, it showed.
Right.
And I'll give you an example. The great Roy Jones. Roy Jones in his prime was unstoppable. But as he got older, he don't got that speed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And now I think when you take a fighter like Bernard Hopkins, who was fundamentally sound, he was able to be champion at 46, 47, 48 because he didn't rely off reflex. He relied on the fundamentals.
And that's a good point. But I think these fighters that you just mentioned, with all honesty, these were fighters that were active. And they were little by little making that transition of age, father time, changing their style, and Manny Pacquiao has been out for many years.
Yeah.
And for him to come back and, like you said, have those same reflexes, I don't think so. I know he's a God-gifted, talented, speed was always there, accuracy, power.
Yeah.
But we'll have to wait to see.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I think he can and should do in this fight, take his time. Like, who changed his style completely, and I like him even more now because he sits on his punches, is Erislandy Lara. You remember how he used to be a boxer?
Yeah.
Boom, boom, accurate fighter, fighting from the outside, and now he sits
that's
down.
That's an OG, too.
Yeah, and that's an OG, too.
Erislandy Lara's 42.
Yeah. So I think for Pacquiao's got to be...
You still got time, Abner.
For
me?
Still
got time.
I'll be 40 this year, bro. So, yeah, I'm there.
Nah, I feel you, man. So, great fight. How do you call it? How do you see it going?
I believe it or not, I give Manny Pacquiao a chance. I think he can win this fight, maybe by a decision. So Manny Pacquiao.
As a Manny Pacquiao fan, I would love to see him accomplish something this, where the odds are stacked against him. But I think Barrios is going to use his youth, his size, and I don't think Barrios will engage with Manny. I think Barrios will set traps, use the jab, back up, make Manny be aggressive, make Manny rely on his reflex.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then use that against him. I think if Barrios does make it a fight and he wants to take it to Manny because, he's prideful, he's like, I want to fight, I'm going to fight Manny Pacquiao. Now that's when you're giving Manny the opportunity to actually land something because the power never goes.
Yeah.
That's the last thing that goes. So, you know what I mean? That's how I would have it. A toe-to-toe matchup, I favorite Manny. But if Barrio boxes and moves, I got him.
Yeah, same here. I think Pacquiao being the smarter, perhaps smarter, more experienced fighter, he is going to try to pressure and have Barrios make mistakes, which he does in many fights he has, and have him fall into that fight. And if he does, you got to be careful, Barrios.
For sure. And then, man, we got another good one, man. We got the rematch for Fundora and Tszyu. Ooh, and Tszyu came back hot.
He did.
Yo, man, I like Tszyu.
I like him, too.
I like him because dude that faced adversity, that's when you really know what a dude's made of, when they face adversity, when they get knocked out, when they get busted up, and you see how they come back, man. That's when you know what they made of, man.
Really made
and Tszyu, man, he came back like nothing. He wasn't gun shy. He didn't have PTSD like some guys we know. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna say no names. You know what I mean? Fill in the blank. But you know what I'm saying? And that's what I love, man, about Tszyu, bro. You know what I mean? And bro, it's a dangerous fight for both. But I don't think Tszyu now. Okay. I think he's gonna have a different approach now against Fundora.
Of course,
so this is a tough fight, man.
Yeah,
I see this as a toss-up.
It's a dangerous fight for both, yes, but I think it's a more dangerous fight for Fundora. Okay. Why? Because they already fought once. Obviously, Fundora won.
Yeah.
But let's not forget how it started. It was Tszyu who was bringing it to him. It was Tszyu who was catching him, with hard shots until that headbutt. I had Tszyu up until he got cut. Yeah. And he got really busted and he couldn't see, and the whole fight, the whole fighting style changed. Yeah. So the whole, coming in with a different plan, different approach. Yeah, you're right. He has to, and he will, against Fundora. But I think the confidence is on Tszyu's side. I think so.
Listen, Tszyu, holla at my boy Danny Davis for a cut, man. For a cut, man. Danny Davis, the best in the game. Because I hope Tszyu doesn't go win that fight with the same cut, man.
He always gets cut, though. Last fight he got cut again.
But that cut in that fight with Fundora, look, man, I know that it was a really bad cut, but I feel like
they could have done a better job.
We talked about it when it happened, that the corner did a bad job on saying, the fight should have got stopped. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, holla at Danny Davis, one of the best in the game,
Yeah.
because that's important. You need to have your corner has to be solid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes a fight actually depends. A fight always depends on how your camp went.
Mm-hmm.
But in situations like that,
You
that's
need
when
your
your
corner,
corner is a
yeah.
big factor.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
Now, but listen, this is gonna be a hot one. This is gonna be a good one. It's an even matchup, yeah, because you said it. The both fighters have shown they overcome adversity.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that Fundora, when he took
Fundora
that
was
fight.
busted.
No, but remember when he
Yeah.
took that fight, he was the undercard. Remember that Tszyu was supposed to fight Thurman. And Thurman hurt his bicep or something. I believe some with his hand bicep it was. And they jumped Fundora all the way to main event when he was coming off that defeat against Mendoza.
Yeah.
So you don't go in with that mentality knowing that, hey, listen, I just got knocked out. I'm not gonna take on this big fighter as Tszyu is, and Fundora did.
No, shout out to Fundora.
So both fighters, man,
yeah, Fundora is an amazing fighter, bro. And one thing, one thing that he did in that fight was, he loves the bang. He loves to stay in the pocket, but he took advantage of.
No, he's a good boxer
of Tszyu being cut, and then he stuck behind that long jab. You know what I'm saying? And it was working for him to the point where, Tszyu really didn't have an answer because he's blinded.
Right.
But then he got this 6'6" dude with an 80-inch reach popping that jab.
That finally used his reach.
Yeah.
That finally used his reach.
Yeah, man. So I think that's one thing that Fundora learned in that fight was, I can use my reach. You don't always have to make it an inside fight. I don't think that the inside fight favors him in this rematch. I think he will be more dominant in the fight if he stays in the outside with that jab.
Oh yeah, and he knows that. Or any other given fight that he had, really, and he knows that. But he likes the inside fight, and he actually, believe it or not, he hates when we ask the question, "Hey, why don't you box? Use your boxing attributes." Like, bro, like I know I can, but I just love to fight in the inside.
Yeah.
But,
no, and we love it. Yeah. As fans, we love it. You know what I'm saying? Because
but he can make it a lot easier.
Yeah.
If he fights from a distance. Obviously.
No, because it's the entertainment business, man. And I want to give and I don't want to go off topic, but I want to give a shout out to what's his name, Chris Eubank Jr. Because what he did was he gave the fans a show. And Ben, and that's what it's all about, And the reason I make that point is because Fundora could make it a boring fight, and Fundora could use that height, and he can use that jab, and he could jab his way to a win all day. But he bangs, you know what I'm saying? And that's what Chris Eubank and Conor Ben did, which I right now have it as fight of the year. I don't know what's going to top that event.
Yeah, year's not over yet, but definitely
for me that's
right
fight
now.
Of the year. You know what I'm saying? For sure. All right, Abner, man. So, on Twitter, man, I shouted out the fans, man. I said, let us know. Me and Abner doing episode 14. Let us know what if you got any questions. Drop that down. And what
they got for us?
Let me see. We got Jose Esperanza. Why is Shakur and Edgar Berlanga fighting on pay-per-view? That's a pay-per-view? That's a pay-per-view? That's news to me. Listen, all right, so I guess I can answer it.
Yeah.
So, Shakur, great talent. You know what I mean? I think he needs a big name. And Cepeda, I think Cepeda is going to bring out the best in Shakur. I think that fight's going to be better than what people think. And I think that this is the chance for Shakur to make a statement and get rid of that stigma of he's a runner. And I think him being ringside at the Haney fight and experiencing the hate that Skill got, I think he understands that, okay, I can box, but at the same time I gotta sit on my shots.
Okay.
So I think that's gonna be a great fight. As far as Berlanga and
wait for this answer.
Berlanga and Hamza.
Comfortable.
Man, look, at the end of the day, Berlanga did big numbers in the Canelo fight. And Canelo, I believe those numbers were almost 1 million in pay-per-view.
Okay.
Canelo didn't do those numbers with Munguia. It takes two to really make a show. Say what you want about Berlanga, man. Hate him or love him, you're going to watch. You know what I'm saying? So
He's
I
one of those
think
fighters. Yeah.
guys like that, you know, they do become pay-per-view attractions. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm
We
saying?
know a lot of those. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people going to tune in because they love him, and then a lot of people's going to tune in because they want to see him lose to Hamzat. You know what I'm saying? So, that's the best I could say on why that might be a pay-per-view. What you think?
I agree on both. I think Shakur Stevenson. I think that Cepeda will definitely bring the best out of him. Pressure fighter, aggressive, and Shakur, like you said, I think that yes, he already saw what happened in those fights that you mentioned,
Yeah.
Skull and also Haney, and he don't want to be that guy. He lived it already. He saw what people talk, what they say. So it's time to make a little bit of adjustments, changes in your fighting style, and risk a little bit more. And I think that he can. And I think he's gonna be able to do it against Cepeda. And Berlanga's a puncher, bro. At the end of the day, he's an exciting fighter, and I think that's where we're gonna get. So yeah, well deserved pay-per-view fight for both.
For sure, man. All right, so let's see. Damn, that's too long.
That's too long of a
People,
question. That's a
yeah,
personal question if
I'm
it's
getting,
that long,
I'm
bro.
getting, no, I'm getting paragraphs. All right, let's see,
Hey, Gabe, remember me?
Okay, so 10 years later, did Floyd versus Pac help or hurt modern boxing?
Floyd versus Manny Pacquiao 10 years later. It
You know what I
didn't
mean?
really do anything, to be honest. It was the fight that we all wanted,
Yeah,
but it happened too late.
it
You
happened too
get me?
late.
Like, too late. So what we saw that night, it was just a win for
Yeah,
for Floyd and a big name, under his belt, but it
I
didn't really do
I tell
anything.
you what, man, I could see the point if I'm reading it right
Right.
that it
How would
could
it
have
hurt boxing?
hurt boxing in the sense of we not getting Canelo
I think it kind
Benavides.
of helped
We're not,
boxing.
but we're not
Okay.
getting Canelo Benavides. I think when fights are desirable and people want to see fights,
Mm.
a lot of the times the fights happen, especially now. Turkey Al-Sheh is making these big fights
Yeah.
happen. You know what I mean? And I would say right now, the Pacquiao Mayweather effect is Canelo Benavides.
Right.
Are we gonna ever see that?
When do you think that that Canelo Benavides fight will be too late?
Shit, it's almost at that time.
It's
It's
at
almost
that
at that time.
time.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
if it doesn't happen this year, which I don't think so, if it doesn't happen next year,
Yeah.
it's that's it.
I would love to see it
It's
if
expired for me.
if Canelo can pass Crawford.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see that fight next.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
So
think
definitely, yeah.
I think that's a legacy fight.
Yeah.
It has to happen.
So yeah, I think that's a good question,
Yeah.
and even better answer from you as far as how it kind of helped boxing, because people like, yo, Manny Pacquiao, Mayweather, you gave it to us too late. Don't let that happen again. We don't want that.
No doubt, man. So I'm gonna do three more.
Okay.
I'm gonna do three more. The management. So this is from Rick Ramos. The management side, is it smart to get a manager? What's a good percentage to give as a fighter, and what are the expectations of a manager?
Shoot, oh, man. So we both been hurt,
I
from
think
both.
everybody
Yeah,
gets
yeah,
hurt
yeah,
in
yeah,
boxing, bro.
yeah. From
It's the hurt
managers,
business.
yeah. No, but I'm
Many
talking about like
different ways.
yeah, different ways. The
Yeah.
managers sometimes take advantage of you, or don't really help, but don't
Yeah.
do what they're supposed to.
Yeah.
So I think a manager is supposed to manage the career, meaning getting you the right fights, building your career to a point where you both are gonna benefit from the big purses, from the big fights. So a manager is supposed to get you um, the right promotion, the right fights, the right fighters, and the right money. I
Yeah.
think to me that's a perfect manager, not a manager that's trying to take advantage of you. You're good, and maybe it is not time for you to fight a big fight, but
Yeah.
the greedy
Pass
manager
you out.
will be like, "Yo, fight for a world title. You're ready,"
Yeah.
because they wants to cash out. So that's a bad manager.
For sure, man. I think a good manager is protecting the fighter from himself. Because, you know, when you have a fighter that's a dog and he's willing to fight everyone, then you got to be responsible with that fighter and just know when it's the right time. Like, matchmaking is an art. So just because a fighter might be physically ready for a certain fight, mentally he's probably not. You got to wait for a fighter to grow mentally. So I think being a good manager, man, is just like really understanding your fighter's mental, you know what I mean, his mental growth as well, you know what I mean. And I think being a good manager is financially helping your fighter, guidance him on the money. Like, yo, this money you going taxes and this, that, and the third, because I think a lot of times a manager doesn't look after a fighter's money, and that happens purposely because the fighter always needs you now. You know what I'm saying? And the fighter always needs you, then you can take advantage of the fighter. You know what I'm saying? So a good manager is just putting you on, making sure you're good mentally and making sure your money's right so you can make the right decisions as, you know, moving on and getting good fights.
But now these times you have obviously the accountants. You know, people are, you know, fighters have grown even more. You know, in my times, I didn't have an accountant. You know, my accountant was my wife. Till this day, that's the best one.
That's good.
She don't let me.
That's probably the best.
That's the best one.
The best one. That's the best one. Because if she steal, at least
She's silly. But I'm just saying, I'll go to a card, try to get some money out. She blocked me. I got a limit. She limits me.
That's funny. No, that's good, bro. That's good. That's what's up. All right, let's see. All right, what we got? 2 more left. Let me see. A lot of Berlanga questions, man.
Yeah, because they were sent to you because they want you to answer them.
Let's see. How do you feel about? All right, man. So, how do you feel about weight bullies? This is from PFP. Javi. How do you feel about weight bullies? The argument is if they can make the weight, then there's no excuse. But if they lose, they blame it on the weight cut, whatever. So what do you think about that?
I think it's always existed. I think it's always been there. Some people don't understand sometimes that, you know, the weight that we see there is just that one night, the weigh-in. Boom, we see, I don't know, 130. By the end of the, you know, fight night, you're 140, 145. You get me? You definitely go up 10 plus pounds. So it's always been there. And yes, there's other fighters that really take it to a whole different level. But they really, really drain themselves to make a certain weight, because when they rehydrate, they're just going to be bulky. They're going to blow up to a monster.
It's crazy, yeah.
So it's a disadvantage sometimes, you know, for a fighter. But it's always been there. So, I mean, what do I think of it? I think it's something that's always existed. I don't mind it. I don't care.
Yeah, for me, if you can make the weight, then you can fight in the weight. The problem with me is the rehydration clause.
Do you like that?
I don't like that.
Yeah, of course.
I think that's crazy because the rehydration clause is designed for the smaller fighter so that the bigger fighter doesn't have an advantage. But at the same time, if you're protecting the smaller fighter, then you're doing a disservice to the bigger fighter, because now if he can't hydrate properly,
you're putting him in risk.
You putting him at risk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You putting him at risk. So I think fighters need to enter the ring healthy. You know what I'm saying? So the rehydration clause, I feel like that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And you know the IBF is you know, the day of the fight, if you're fighting just for the IBF, the day of the fight you can't surpass 10 pounds. That's just crazy, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Even from a small guy like me, I used to do 10 plus pounds.
Yeah, I know me, I did like 15. Yeah. I wouldn't really do no more than 15, but that's hard.
Thank you so much for watching Mi Gallo episode 14. New fans, appreciate you. Welcome to the hottest, the best show out there, Mi Gallo. Faithful fans, number ones, appreciate you. Man, we talk nothing but the truth right here. Right here.
All facts. All facts. You know what I mean? And we appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe. Hit that subscribe button now. Let's go. Mi Gallo bringing the best to you all the time. Let's go.